Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another video today, breaking down uh, my opinion on where these characters sit inside a tier list. I know the first sentence only been out for not even a week yet, but there's already a lot of people making tier list videos. And although I've only seen a few, there are some who I just instantly trust, so I didn't bother watching their videos, like Nightmare Frame and all that stuff. I don't know if he actually did one, but I'm sure he's probably already working on one, or he did one. And if he did, trust me, I trust his opinion. But I also know who Nightmare Frame is, and I know how hardcore he is too, right? So I understand why some players instantly get turned off by some of like his opinions on things. Some players, not all players, some players. And the reason why I say some players is because in order to make certain characters Nightmare Frame level, you are full maximizing in this game, and the grind is insane, right? Like my Nightmare Frame is a really, really, really good dude to go watch when you want to make like a really broken build. If you're someone who's extremely hardcore, he's a hardcore theory crafter, right? Um, but my target audience is you, like pretty much general the public, like people who just want to know where their character sits at on a tier list and their potential and everything like that. And you may not care too much about maximizing characters. You just want to be able to clear all content perfectly fine. And your just general question is, are they good? Right? I just want to know if my character's good. Can I go and pull for this character? Should I, craft this character? I'm worried about them. I want to buy them. Whatever the case may be, that's where I come into play. There's so many different ways to categorize characters that it's kind of unfair. In short, there was one video I watched, and a guy was pretty much just giving a lot of misinformation and just labeling these characters like some of these characters are bad because he doesn't know how to build, and it's like, my God. So without a further ado, let's talk about it. There's disclaimer. There's 3 characters as of right now on a tier list that you got to take my opinion with a grain of salt. I haven't actually spent time with them, but I'm 100% confident they're really solid characters and they're good, right? As far as how they play, I don't know fully if they feel good to play or anything like that. So please do take my opinion with a grain of salt. I just look at the potential of characters. That's the way I grade characters. I grade them based off their potential and where they're currently at right now in the game. So some characters I'll look at, I'm like, oh, this character's like, A tier, S tier, whatever, because they have high potential for longevity, whatever the case may be. Anyways, let's dive in. So starting with Jayber. Jayber, instant S tier. Why is Jayber S tier? Jayber's S tier because he is considered as a utility DPS. But again, if you're really good at building inside this game, builds are insane. Like the damage multipliers are ridiculous. And when you start getting higher up, you'll really start seeing Jayber mains just shred. Jayber single-handedly by himself can shred. Like he's definitely, he has to be top 3 damage dealers inside the game, hands down. You can argue Gley, you can argue Jayber, you can argue, whoever the heck you want to argue. Hands down in my top 3, Jayber. One of the strongest DPS, hands down. And on top of this hardcore DPS, he actually has utility in terms of AoE healing. So because he has AoE healing, with his healing turret, not only does he heal his team, he buffs his damage, and he's consistently damaged. So like instead of like 4 players, it's basically like four players. And if you're doing like avoid intercept, and you're in those weird situations where it's like, oh yeah, you only have 3 players, you're missing 1 player out of the recommended view, so we're gonna like nerf the boss slightly or whatever, and you're down like damage, Jayber makes up for it. His turret is like a fourth gunner, You gotta respect Jayber. So do not listen to the videos that say Jayber's a bad character. Jayber is cracked. Understand there are content creators from all looter shooters, right? And some of them never played Warframe, in which these mechanics are inspired by. So voice crack, holy cow. I am so sorry. Voice crack. Yeah. Jayber's great. Trust me. Fantastic character. S tier, immediate. Ajax. S tier, immediately. I don't need to talk about Ajax. You probably see Ajax. You probably got Ajax. You're probably like, this dude looks awesome. He's a tank. He's an amazing tank to have when you build him for defense, and he has some cool, interesting mods to play around with. I'm going to actually get Ajax at some point after I finish building a couple of my other characters. And I'm going to try to build him. As of right now, I don't have Ajax currently inside this playthrough of the game. So because I don't have Ajax currently, I can't look at the newer mods that I didn't get a chance to play around with in the beta. But I just know 100% Ajax is an S tier character, especially when we're in the harder content. He reflects damage back, so it's kind of like mitigating damage in a sense. He tanks hardcore, like a lot of damage, so he can actually throw himself in risky situations to save his team, which is something that's very important, especially when like you have two people die right on top of each other in a really bad spot, and you need someone to go and pick them up without getting killed either, wasting your lives inside a void intercept battle. I'm not going to spoil which boss that is, but trust me, if you know, you know, right? Or when you get there, you'll get there. So Ajax is a sensational character to have on the team at all points in time, and I really think his longevity is going to only improve as the game continues to go on. I I think he'll still be needed, or he won't really necessarily be needed, but he'll be viable. Like he's pretty much like, I don't want to say Rhino because he doesn't buff his own damage from Warframe, but he's just like that character that just has good self-sustain, right? And that's the most important thing about Ajax, and that's why I'm gonna throw him S tier. All right, Blair. Blair as of right now, currently, I think Blair, I would throw him in A tier. And this isn't to say Blair is bad, and it's not to say that, again, no characters on this list is bad. So even if I throw a character in D tier, that doesn't mean they're bad. I'll be honest. Well, sorry, no, D tier is actually pretty ass. D tier is pretty ass. We're gonna take that back. If you're in D tier, you're kind of ass, right? I'll say B tier is probably gonna be the lowest you'll see a character, and the reason why I throw a character in B tier, I'll explain why when we get there. But as of right now, no character on this list is actually bad at all, right? The only reason why some characters will be lower than others is because their longevity, and if Nexon decides to go in a certain direction, like Warframe and Destiny did, some characters just will automatically be outclassed by others, and they won't be a part of like your actual meta that you would want to have on your team for specific reasons, like you might just require just more damage overall, and that character sadly is not going to help bolster your damage any further. And there are other characters who already play into their role, so you already have pretty much majority of their kit being taken by like a sub ability. Again, I'll go more in detail about that, so just keep that in the back of your mind when we get to that point. And the other characters that I talked about that I might just put somewhere, it's only just because I personally haven't had them and they weren't in the beta, and I can't speak about them yet, and they're not crazy popular for me to gauge their potential. So yeah, but anyways, Lepic, S tier, immediate S tier. So I'm throwing Lepic in S tier because Lepic actually has massive, massive, massive damage. My Lepic, if you follow me over on twitch.tv/renderp, shameless plug, you will see my Lepic. My Lepic is only level 20, and at level 20 with, again, I put the wrong mods on Lepic, and I put the wrong mods on him because I didn't really care at the time. I didn't have the purple mods when I was originally, when I used him as my starter. I did use him in the beta, but right now in the base game, I'm going to say it right off rip. My Lepic hits 800,000 damage. 800,000 damage with his fourth ability effortlessly. And if it's not even a crit, you know how high it is? It's 400 to 500,000 non-crit, right? And that's without any max mods, and it's with the wrong mods on top of that. And he has massive AoE, he has good grouping. So he's a grouper, he has AoE control, he has massive burst damage on him, and his mods, and depending how much you build him, right? Like, I'm sure you've seen people talk about the Infinite Bunny with the MP cost recovery on kill. You could do the same concept with Lepic, hypothetically, in theory, and I can use his 4 and just like spam the shit out of things, right? And just constantly keep just lobbing nades. Like, my grenade will do over 100-something thousand damage, like 200-something thousand damage. Sorry, 200-something thousand damage. I forgot I was testing that last night, and he's only level 20-ish right now. So as I level him up, not only is his base skills are going to get boosted up and everything like that, he's going to do over 1,000,000. And then obviously when I put my proper mods on him, once I get him leveled up and everything like that, he'll do way more than that. I'm not going to prioritize Lepic as of right now. I'm going to wait till I get Ultimate Lepic, and then I'm going to work on shooting out a massive build, because I just don't see the point in leveling up or not, like maximizing the character for me personally when the Ultimate exists, right? Like, I plan on getting Ultimate, so I'm going to do it. If you are free to play and you don't see yourself grinding that hard for a character, unless you're like a diehard main for the character, I would completely understand if you decide to just buff your Lepic currently. But me, I know I'm just going to be very responsible and get the ultimate version of him at some point. Anyways, next character, Gley. Baby mamas. S tier. S tier. Mwah. Chef's kiss. She's an S tier character. Screw what the guides say. I don't care the fact they nerf Gley. People's opinions on Gley differ so much because they don't understand Gley. Gley is not like the other characters. She's not like Lepic. She's not like Bunny. She's not like these other characters that have like a skill or a utility that just instantly dogs on boss, right? Like, she does, her abilities focus primarily on her weapon. Gley is what I consider a weapons specialist. That being said, you have to know how to build your weapon more importantly. And a lot of players as of right now do not prioritize maximizing their weapons DPS. They are prioritizing other aspects of the game that I feel like is not as important, which is why they struggle clearing content. And if you have Gley and you're someone who's like, man, I wish I didn't get Gley because, you know, she feels really lackluster, like I'm not really getting that much damage off her, it's probably because you aren't building your weapon. So Gley's fourth ability is based off whatever weapon she currently has in her hand and the modules and the stats on that, right? So you have to know what you're doing and what you're going to use as a stat stick to really make her shine. And obviously, you know, modding her her abilities further also helps too, because that also applies to the bonuses and boosts that you get when you're using your weapon or her exalted weapon, in this case her exalted weapon being her 4, to really make her shine. But she shreds. For what she does, she shreds. She's an amazing tank. Probably the easiest tank in the game to build, right? Because Gley doesn't mess around with shields. So you can just keep stacking all these HP mods on. You can have like HP conversion where you like lose, I think it's HP conversion, where you like lose your shields and stuff like that to get more health. Guess what? She doesn't have shields. So you know what that is? That's just a free bonus for her, right? So you can really amp your health up. And the meta right now is just focusing health and defense. And guess what Gley can do? She can focus a lot of health and a lot of defense. And so she's automatically tanking like a massive amount of damage off rip. She has damage reduction. She has, you know, a crazy damage buff, innate damage buffs just in her frenzied mode. And then based on what mods you're running with Gley, again, like if you're using certain special Gley mods like Predator Instincts, Super Senses, any of that, like you're just amping her damage even further. So she's cracked. S tier, immediate S tier. There's nothing more I need to say about Gley. S tier, trust the process. But if you're a new player and you like Gley, I will admit she probably would be like, you know, I would say C tier, only because the only reason I'll give her C tier is because of how difficult she is and how late her mods are and everything like that inside the game, right? But other than that, hell yeah, she's fucking S tier. But again, if you're someone who's really new at the game and you never played these kind of games before, it's very difficult for you and you're really struggling and stuff like that, clearing content and yada yada yada, and you just can't wrap your brain around buffing characters and building mods and weapons, yada yada yada. You know, I understand why she feels like she's lackluster, because she isn't really bringing much for you, right? But S tier. Next, Bunny, S tier. Oop, that's A. S tier. S tier, right off rip. You see a lot of Bunny mains. Bunny is sensational. She's a great crowd controller, a great farming character. She's a character that honestly is a necessity at this point with how hardcore the grind gets in Nexon and how much you need. Bunny is an S tier character. She helps her team clear all content inside the game. She has great movement. She has her gameplay loop is flawless. I think she has the best synergy out of all the characters in the game, hands down. And some people may look at Bunny like she's basic, whatever. But Bunny's gameplay is just so sensational. It's so hard to really put her low because again, she keeps momentum. If you stack on like the HP to defense, it makes it harder for enemies to kind of attack her unless you run into like a bombing squad or whatever. Then you're like, oh my god. But other than that, she's a good boss killer. She's a good runner in general, which you're gonna need for one of the bosses. I say runner. I'm not trying to spoil. She's a good runner, so she helps out with that kind of mechanic. She's just really good, man. Like her crowd control capabilities is insane. You really want Bunny on your team for when there's like a lot of mobs on screen and you're trying to focus damage, because Bunny can just keep moving, keep those ads cleared off your team, and just really help aggro a boss, right? Or just melt a boss. So Bunny is just sensational. There's so much I could say about Bunny, but she's S tier. I'm sorry, I'm thinking like crazy. Freyna. Now, unpopular opinion. This is something that people might question me for. I know most people are probably gonna say Freyna's A tier. Freyna, maybe some people might say B tier. Her damage doesn't feel as good. She's not what she used to be because they nerfed her weapon and all that stuff. In my opinion, so far, I haven't fully built my Freyna, but her potential is like sky high, right? In my opinion, there's so many mods I have right now that I can just see just like making her the DPS queen. Not like better than Gley or anything, maybe better than Gley. She just makes me think of Sharen Prime. So I'm putting her in S tier. And you might be like, a render? S tier Freyna? Look at all these S tier characters. There's no way Freyna's S tier. Like, bro, she got mods for days. Let me tell you, that constantly enhances her toxin damage. I am really hoping, after I get done building a lot of these characters and leveling up a lot of these characters like fully and everything like that, I can fully invest in Freyna. I'm trying to get an activator right now so I can actually slap on the bigger mods and then come back. Because my Freyna, as I showcased on TikTok, as I showcased on YouTube, she's pretty fucking strong at low level. And I even made her stronger. And I don't have a full kit on her. I don't have maxed out mods or anything like that. And I just did Hangman last night with Freyna. And even at a low level, low investment, she was shredding Hangman, which is the level 95 boss. And with that being said, hell fucking yeah, she's going to be S tier. Excuse my French. She's S tier. I don't care what anyone says. S tier. Go watch those videos that sit there and try to knock Freyna down. S tier. Yujin. Okay, so Yujin's one of those characters that I was talking about in the very beginning of the video, in which I was saying that this character, thinking about the longevity of said character, how helpful they are and everything like that. Will they be outclassed or whatever the case may be? Are they going to be meta? Are they not going to be meta? And the fact that I just haven't really played them, but I played with them. Yujin, I'm throwing in B tier. And B tier is the lowest I'm going to throw any character, because no character's trash in this game. And I think C and D tier just makes them trash, right? And the reason why I'm throwing Yujin in B tier, I know, blasphemy, every single person is saying Yujin's S tier, yada, 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 yada. And hear me out before you set me on fire and yell at me. I understand, ladies, Yujin's best boy, he's hot, all that stuff, yada, 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 whatever the case may be. But hear me out. The reason why I throw Yujin in B tier is because, again, Yujin kind of suffers from the same thing that happened in Warframe. And if you never played Warframe, let me tell you a little bit about it. So there's a character in Warframe called Trinity. And Trinity is a support character that is sensational at healing. She's phenomenal at healing and keeping her teammates MP up and kind of like stripping them and everything like that. Like stripping enemies of like their armor and whatnot. And it depending on how you build Trinity, you can make like a reverse kind of DPS kind of thing or whatnot. But she got very outscaled later on in the game. Her importance to the game really fell off due to the fact that, well, if you just build your character to be a tank and you're dishing out massive damage anyways, there's not a lot of periods in which healing is necessary, right? Like a lot of characters have their own self-sustain. And right now, as I spoke about earlier in the video, The meta right now is really stacking on survivability on these characters like health and defense, and you don't really take a lot of a lot of damage. I personally, as of right now, I don't even follow meta. I've done the hardest content even without any health mods or anything like that. Oh, my first Descendant kicked me out. Sorry. So that's very important for me to throw out there, right? So if you're stacking your health and you're stacking your defense and you have massive damage on your team, which is the most important aspect, is the damage aspect of the thing, because you want to just kill things as fast as possible in this game. Everything is like limited time when it comes to boss killing. Do you really need heals if everyone is already surviving and tanking? Yujin's passive is absolutely amazing. I love the fact that his revive is really instant and fast, but the main reason why people pick Yujin is because he heals, right? Now, go back to a character like Jayber, that I was talking about before, earlier in the video. Jayber heals and provides DPS. So, and you already have a character like Ajax, also have your team grouped up on top of each other that's already like deflecting bullets and keeping everyone alive and just tanking. And if everyone's already built as tank for survivability, and you have Ajax also just shielding everything, having the team grouped up in a bubble, you're also sitting inside Jayber's healing turrets with Jayber's auto turrets there, and Jayber's buffing that anyways. And so he's already taking Yujin's spot. And that's just my opinion. That's why I can't be on the Yujin hype train and say, Yujin's S tier. Like you see some of these videos, just hyping up Yujin, right? Like, he has cool passive perks. Like, I really do like his passive perks. And I'm sure he has some mods that make it good too. And we were talking about this last night on stream with some viewers, and people brought up the fact that, you know, oh, well, he buffs your team's overall damage. But like from what we were told and everything like that, it's only for like it goes on cooldown for like 120 seconds. That's basically like 2 minutes. That's 2 minutes of his thing downtime. And one of my viewers said, oh, well, his cooldown with all his skill duration, he only has to wait like 50 seconds. And I say only 50 seconds, but 50 seconds of not having a damage buff is crazy, in my opinion, because guess what? I'm just going to grab Best Girl Valby. S tier character. S tier character. Valby, again, is another reason why Yujin is so low on my list. So Valby, if you don't know, I'll actually pull her up her abilities and read off why Valby is really good. Let me click back into here, and I'm gonna show you guys something that I don't think most people know, because I don't really hear people talk about Valby. And it boggles my mind. She's a burst DPS support character. And on top of her being a burst DPS support character, guess what else Valby does? Valby also debuffs enemies, which debuffing enemies is buffing your team's damage, right? So let's talk about Valby, the character that I don't see getting a lot of love in this game. Like, no one's really talking about her, and it blows my mind. Like, she's so good. So, getting in here, Descendants. Let's go straight to Valby. Valby. So, I used her a lot in the beta. And, I'm telling you right now, they didn't change her. And I'm so happy. So, Valby here, if you look at her ability, Laundry, it decreases enemies' electric resist, right? So, you have a character like Bunny, you have a character like Sharen. Instantly, they're doing more damage. Then you also decrease non-attribute resistance by like 20%. You know who does non-attribute damage and is classified as that? Characters like Jayber, characters like Gley. You're already buffing Sharen. You're already buffing Bunny. Enzo. Like, you're buffing all the pretty much the main DPS dealers that you're gonna see up in high levels, right? And pretty much what most of the community is looking for in terms of damage. So by buffing them, you're already just like one of the best support units to have inside the game. Hands down. And again, she has AoE abilities. And basically she does dot ticks. And dot stands for like damage over time. So she's also kind of like a little mini Freyna, right? It may not be poison, but she's doing like damage over time as enemies are also inside her water pools. And clean up and all that stuff, it's pretty much like a one-hit kill, bro. Like, it kills, like, instantly. Like, you just clear mobs. Think of, if you're from Warframe, the way I look at her, the way I look at this ability, you might think of Revenant instantly, right? It's kind of like Revenant in a sense. It's kind of crazy. And again, the duration of this off base is 20 seconds. Off base, 20 seconds debuffs happening to enemies and taking damage over time. You apply it to a boss scenario, and again, she's a burst DPS. Massive damage numbers are popping up on your screen. Trust me, she's a demon. You're debuffing enemies, enabling your other teammates, you're crowd controlling enemies. Valby's S tier. That's all I need to say about Valby. I wish more people talk about her. Stop sleeping on my girl Valby, bro. Stop sleeping on her. If you're sleeping on her, stop it. Stop it right now. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise about Valby. Just know your boy Render got you. If you're thinking about crafting her, pulling her, whatever, buying her, I don't care what you do. You just get yourself a Valby. She's amazing. And again, she's the reason why Yujin is a B tier character. B tier. He's good. He's great. And I'm sure he would be amazing. But it's just his healing occupied by Jayber. His team buff occupied by Valby. She's always having that debuff on the enemy at all times. All times. And with Jayber already healing, with Ajax already grouping, you don't need a Yujin on your team. That's the part that sucks. So if you were to have like a really dream comp and have everyone together, you already have Jayber, you already have Ajax, you already have Valby, you probably have like your damage dealer being in Gley. So you have like Jayber doing damage, you have probably Gley doing damage, you probably have Bunny doing damage, you know. You probably have any one of these characters just doing the damage for you. You know what I'm saying? With her on top of that already adding more damage to the equation happening to the boss or whatever it is you're killing. So where does Yujin come into play? Make that make sense to me, chat. Right? Let me know what you think about that down in the comments. In my opinion, like I said, B tier. I don't think he's ass. I don't think he sucks. I just think that, again, he's replaceable. And I don't really see his longevity. I think he already got power crept too soon. Unless they come up with some crazy, super OP Sprindus mod and rework him a little bit, whatever the case may be, to where he can do some like crazy exotic thing that none of these characters can do that outshines them tremendously. Nah, he's B tier, bro. Enzo. So Enzo's another character I haven't played. But I have had one Enzo on my team, luckily, and I thought it was really cool. And I think Enzo falls in the same boat as Jayber in terms of DPS, but in terms of like where his calculations sit, I don't know. I had seen only like 2 Enzos total, and one Enzo on my team was kind of cool, and his build, it would like spawn a turret behind me. So I'm going to put Enzo in A tier because I'm confident his damage is good, but I don't know how good, if that makes sense. I have to get my hands on him and build him myself. But also with like these kind of characters up here, enabling him, he's just innately just getting buffed because, you know, you got characters like Valby, you know, existing. So if Valby's on your team, he's probably up here, probably not. I don't know. So take that with a grain of salt. He could be B tier in terms of damage, but I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that because, again, the way the mods work inside this game, characters get really amped up. Like, they're overpowered, man. Like, they are just so cracked, right? So I'm gonna say he's A tier, just for now, only because I'm unsure. As far as Kyle go, Kyle, I'll be honest with you, I haven't played with Kyle. I didn't really get a chance to spend a lot of time with him in the beta to understand his kit well enough. And every Kyle I've seen died, but then again, I don't like to go off of Kyle's because again, there's just a lot of people who just don't know how to build. A lot of people are new to these games. And yeah, like I know people say Kyle's a tank, he's an amazing tank, but you know who else is a tank? Ajax. You know what I mean? Ajax. So there's that. You know what I mean? Like it's like do I want to like throw Kyle? Like I don't want to be that guy. I don't know. So this might change. I'm gonna throw him in B tier. Again, not saying he's bad, just unsure. And in my opinion, you already got Ajax. You literally already have Ajax. He's accessible off rip from the get-go. Tanks hardcore. You know, deflects bullets back at the enemy. AoE, all that stuff. And yeah, he's He's shielding his whole entire team. I don't know if Kyle has something similar. Again, if you play Kyle, if you're a Kyle main and you feel like this is wrong, just let me know in the comment section below. I'll definitely get back and read it, or just let me know on Twitch. I stream every day for the most part on twitch.tv/renderp. Again, shameless plug. Check me out over there, and yeah, just let me know if you disagree. Viessa, S tier. S tier. Her potential is actually kind of insane. So her AoE is really good. She falls in the same boat as a Freyna. And the reason why I throw Viessa in S tier is because her AoE is good. She does good crowd control. She has good slow and debuffs. And then also, like, if you really get into the build aspect of her and you understand building weapons wise, you can get some really good damage off Viessa. Like, yeah, people don't know. She got some tech in there that, let me tell you, she got some damage. I kind of want to talk about it here, but then at the same time, I don't know if I should. But trust me when I tell you, she's in S tier for sure. Just you wait. Just you wait. I'm working on it. I'm working on it, guys. I'm trying my best to farm. The farm right now is just so tedious. I'm putting over like 18, 20 hours a day. No exaggeration. Trying to get everyone. I don't have Viessa right now in this current playthrough, right? Not in this current playthrough. I had Viessa in the beta. Again, she didn't get changed. She's the exact same character she's always been. But now I have access to more mods, and from her potential in the beta, and access to the more mods, and the mods that are out there that people are probably sleeping on, like chill on attack increase, all that stuff, bro. She's fucking nutty, right? Trust. She's nutty. Okay? She's nutty. Sharen. Last and final one. S tier. S tier character. Sharen is really good. She applies debuff, and then on top of that, on top of applying debuff, she has good burst damage. She's a good burst damage dealer, right? And her stealth is really nice for when you just want someone to go and revive. It's not anything crazy. Like, again, like, no one realistically is going to be going down the higher up you go, because the meta right now is taking as much health and defense as possible and stacking on that survivability while also amplifying your abilities further. And that's luckily what every single character right now in the game you can do. So you don't really need the support units or the support aspect of it, but it just really helps. But Sharen gets huge damage buffs too. She can definitely do it. And with luckily her kit being backed up by Valby, she's doing it. She enables characters like Bunny. She enables characters like Gley. All that stuff. So you gotta respect Sharen. The only thing I'll say about these characters is I understand some of these characters just may not be the most fun to play, but this isn't about the fun factor of the character. This is just more so about the potential of the character and where they sit on a tier list. And it's kind of cool. Like, I put a lot of characters in the S tier, and that's just to showcase how good Nexon did at, making these characters feel strong and important. So if you are someone who really were looking at these characters and you were thinking like, hey, I don't know what character to get, just know they're really good. They're worth it. Not a whole lot to say about some of these characters. Like, again, I think the most important one to keep an eye on is Yujin. He may excel up later in future updates and patches. Again, Kyle, I just can't really grade him well enough because I haven't used him. And Enzo is just a character that, I'm also unsure about. I'm confident in his damage, but I don't also want to give that misinformation because he could just fall in the same boat as Jayber. Like, Jayber literally has an attack turret already and a healing drone. So it's kind of like his spot is also being taken by Jayber, if that makes sense. But I haven't looked at all of his mods or anything like that. So he could have way more damage than Jayber. But Jayber has that utility that just kind of outshines him, as of right now, from my knowledge. Again, if you are someone who mains Enzo and I just never had the pleasure of playing with you or anything like that on my team, unfortunately, just let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Maybe your favorite YouTuber that mains Enzo, and maybe you've seen what Enzo can do and their mods and how they're broken down and all that stuff. So let me know. And there's another character that's missing here, and It's Essimo. I don't know about Essimo. I'm kind of surprised he's gone. He's not on his tier list, unfortunately. But yeah, so I can't really place him anywhere. So that's another character that was like up in the air that I'm not sure about. I don't know where he goes on a list. I haven't looked at his abilities yet. If he has damage overtime, like, because my understanding, Ensimo is a explosive specialist. So if he's like Lepic in a sense of he has massive damage with damage over time, like burn abilities, he might be an S tier character. No exaggeration. Like that's just off my brain, like off the top of my dome. So if he's like that, I'm probably gonna just slap him in the S tier just for the fun of it because you know if Lepic can do big damage with his explosive, imagine what an Ensimo can do if he's all explosions. Like, I'll get back to that. I'll get back to that. But anyways, thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate you for stopping by. Hopefully, this helps you decide whether or not you want to go for the character that you were looking for. And if you want to support me, you can go follow me over on twitch.tv/renderp. I'll have the link down in the description below. Also, if you ever want to game, hang out, whatever the case may be, do that. This week, or not, yeah, this upcoming Friday, I plan on doing a giveaway for $100 in the first Descendant. So I'll be giving away a $100 gift card, be it Steam, PlayStation, or Xbox, whatever platform you're on. So you can try to get yourself an ultimate character of your choosing. I just want people to enjoy the game and have fun. I understand the ultimate bundles and stuff like that are very, very expensive and overpriced for their value. So if you are trying to get a hold of an ultimate character, you don't want to waste your money, go follow me on twitch.tv/render. Hang out with me for a bit and all that stuff. We'll try to do the giveaway Friday, and I will select winners. All you have to do is follow the channel, hang out and chat, just talk it up, and just chill. That's it. I'll get more videos out there. I am not really good with YouTube. I'm literally just a Twitch streamer, right? I'm trying to get into YouTube, so bear with me. I'm hoping as time goes on, I'll get better. My goal also with the support from the community, from you, is to do a giveaway at least once a month for the First Descendant as long as I'm a content creator for the First Descendant. So as long as the First Descendant is up and running and great, I'll try my hardest to stick with the game and keep pushing out content for you guys or entertain you guys as best as I can over on Twitch. Yeah, give a giveaway. Share the love. I do have a creator code, so if you are someone who wants to help support me, please use my creator code. I'll also have that posted in the description. And that's it. Love you guys. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.